The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at first criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Oh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.
Hello, Sofa Squad. How is everybody doing out there? I hope you are all just wonderful, just lovely. Thank you for the moderators for being here and hanging out with me. I'm actually looking at y'all on the screen right here, so I got to train myself to look over here. I've gotten fancy. I've got a little pretend TV right here, okay, in front of the pretend sofa, because my eye is bigger for my eyes to see, okay. So how's everybody doing? Welcome, everybody. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Emily. I hope y'all are doing well. Hello, Katie Cat. Hey, Gretchen. Hey, Emster. Nani. Hey, Kaylee. Hey, Gretchen again. Ruby. Sherry Belcher. Hello, Brenda. Backwards Pigeon. I love it. Hey, Shayna. How's it going? Y'all, it's been a crazy several days here at the Sofa Squad, or really this last week, but it's all very, very good stuff. Hey, Tugs, how's it going? It's good seeing you. Hey, Carolina. So yeah, so hey, nope, not today. I love that. And let me tell you what, let's just say this before we talk about it. We're not going to get into it deep, but we're just going to say this. Y'all, the Lori and Nate thing plays 100% glued to the television or YouTube, whatever you call it, tomorrow night. I did a little quick video on here on this channel for here. And then I just did one for the main channel, like the preview or whatever, to kind of like let everybody know, yes, we're watching. I heard from so many people sending it to me. Thank you for doing that. But like, yes, we're watching it. Yes, for homework, we need to watch it so we can all talk about it. Maybe, probably not tomorrow night because it'll be kind of late by then, at least over here. Hey, Share Bear. And, but definitely Tuesday night. So but for tonight, hey, Northwest. For tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to be, or tonight, well, the early evening, we're going to be talking about the mushroom case, right? We're still kind of following that one. The judge is still doing jury deliberations, so, or not jury deliberations, instructions. So we're just going to read through some of those live updates today. These are several days old at this point. Well, this one's Thursday. Yeah, so a few days, several days old. Ouch, rat. Hey, Casey. Hey, Georgia. I know Lori is such a troll, isn't she? Lori Daybell. Not if there's a Lori in, not if there's a Lori in the chat room. We hear certainly. I hope it's not a Lori Daybell in the chat room. Yeah, Northwest. The interview on that East Idaho News YouTube. Full circle with Nate. I know, right? Karen, that's what I was thinking too. Totally full circle. Totally full circle. Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of just pick up here and then essentially kind of in the middle of some of these updates, or not updates, but the live updates and whatnot, of the jury instructions, because they went on and on and on, but more interesting information came out during this. So I'm just going to start reading through it. We'll stop and kind of talk along the way, that type of thing, right? Okay, so let's start off with the what happened yesterday part, because it just kind of gets you there. And it said that Justice Beal started delivering his instructions on Tuesday and continued on Wednesday and Thursday. So I mean, we're talking, I think they're coming back again and continuing on. Hey, Style Chat, how's it going? Yeah, Northwest says mushroom cases in the 11th week of a 6-week trial. Y'all, this has gone on and on and on and on, right? It's crazy. Okay, so yesterday he continued to take, and this is through ABC News, right? We've followed them throughout this, and we're going to also do some Daily Mail stuff. Yesterday he continued to take the jury through Ms. Patterson's alleged incriminating conduct. Alleged instances, he said, were relied on by the prosecution as implied admissions of guilt. These included allegations Ms. Patterson, I'm going to list them off here, lied about being unwell and fake dead cat mushroom poisoning, lied that she used dried mushrooms from an Asian grocery in the beef Wellingtons, refused treatment on her first presentation at the Leongatha Hospital and left the hospital against medical advice, was reluctant to obtain medical treatment for her children on July 31st, 2023, lied that she had fed her children beef Wellington leftovers on the Sunday night with the mushroom paste and pastry scraped off, reset a phone, referred. Hold on, let me read that one again. I'm just like, even going down this list, y'all, I'm like, this is so bad, right? Like, it just sounds really bad for her. Okay. Reset a phone referred to in the trial as phone B multiple times from August 2nd, 2023. Disposed of a dehydrator at the local tip on the same day. Provided police with phone B rather than her usual phone during a police search of her home on August 5th, 2023. Later lied to police about her usual mobile phone number, lied that she had never foraged mushrooms or dehydrated food. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so Thursday. Here we go. So Thursday. Sorry. Let me just start down here. Is this? No. Okay, so here we are. Okay, sorry. Let's go back up here. So Thursday. Okay. We return to the dumped dehydrator. Now, this is by Jessa Thompson, again with ABC News. Right. Yesterday, Justice Bill continued taking the jury through several alleged instances of incriminating conduct that the prosecution argues suggests that Erin's guilty. The judge begins today's proceedings by turning briefly to one of those matters, the dumping of a dehydrator. I mean, my gosh, that dehydrator, right? We can't get away from it. Okay, he reminds the jury that in an interview Ms. Patterson gave to police, she said she lied when she told the police she never dehydrated food and said she didn't own a dehydrator. She told you in relation to those lies, it was a stupid knee-jerk reaction to just dig deeper and keep lying, the judge said. The final alleged instance of incriminating conduct. The judge has now moved to the last alleged instance of incriminating conduct, Erin Patterson allegedly faking illness after the fatal beef Wellington lunch. Justice Bill begins by taking the jury through what one of Ms. Patterson's children said about the accused behavior after the lunch. We hear that on the following day, a Sunday, Ms. Patterson reportedly told her son she had to go to the toilet a few times during the night and said she was concerned about attending church and spreading the illness. More detail on Erin Patterson's health. Next, Justice Bill recaps some of what Ms. Patterson's other child said about their mother's health over the same period. We hear the child didn't remember when mom started to feel sick, but that she needed to go to the toilet a lot on the Sunday after lunch. Simon Patterson's evidence about the same period is recapped next. What Erin Patterson told health staff. The judge turns next to the symptoms Erin Patterson reported to health staff after the lunch. We revisit evidence from nurse Kylie Ashton that Ms. Patterson mentioned nausea, diarrhea, and an elevated heart rate on the evening of July 29th. Then there is the issue of a stool sample Ms. Patterson was later asked to provide in hospital. There's been much detail on this during the trial. The judge reminds the jury of health staff evidence that one sample she provided was still watery, clear, yellow in color, looks like urine, but the patient said it was a stool. It was stool. So, I mean, yeah, this is, it is what it is. Okay. Accused was moderately dehydrated. The judge is going into detail now about observations health workers made about Erin Patterson's condition in the days after the lunch. There is talk of symptoms including tenderness in her abdomen and a heart rate that began at about 140 beats per minute, but settled to about 100 beats per minute over the course of 2 hours. The judge says an elevated heart rate can be linked to stress, being unwell, or being dehydrated. We hear one opinion that Miss Patterson was moderately dehydrated due to ongoing diarrhea and appeared to have a gastro-type illness and was recommended for treatment in hospital. Hospital observations revisited. Next, we hear from a doctor who saw Erin Patterson in a hospital emergency department. The judge says the accused reported persistent nausea and diarrhea at that point. Justice Beal reminds the jury of the doctor's evidence that Miss Patterson thought she had food poisoning from the beef Wellington she had prepared and consumed at about midday on the Saturday. Under cross-examination, the doctor said their notes recorded the accused saying her diarrhea was initially brown in color, explosive every 10 minutes, and became watery clear by the Sunday after the lunch. Now, I just had this thought. We're sitting here reading this, and I'll put up a little poll after I say it because I need to figure out the quickest way to say it, because if you know me, then you know I get like wordy or whatever. But seeing what the judge is doing and how much the judge is recapping this, like going out, like literally repeating the trial. Okay, y'all. I'm thinking this to myself. Now, there's two versions of this, right? Okay. I'm thinking this as a stand aside. I'm like, wow, the Australian courts really go over this stuff like way more than we do here in the USA. Now, I mean, tell me what you think about that, because they've done the closing things and now the judge is like repeating the whole trial. You know what I'm saying? Like basically going back through it. So on that same note, now now here's me from the sofa, right? I'm like, I don't think I'd have it in me to go through all this again at the very end of it. I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? Like falling out and stuff like that. But that's just me being lazy and like, you know, whatever. But I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is the way to do this. I mean, this is like we are truly, because imagine this. Imagine you're sitting here on especially a case like this, right? And you're sitting here taking notes, doing your thing, whatever, right? When maybe they give you some kind of stuff in the course. I'm talking about American court systems here. This is almost like we're making sure you get every last detail of this. You remember this, you do this, you do that, before we send you off. I mean, this has gone on for days, right? For days. So, because at this point, if I was a juror, hey, RJB, hey, Crystal, if I was a juror, Northwest says the jurors had iPads with evidence too. I mean, seriously, right? If I was a juror during this, and again, I'm being dramatic, right? It's a different thing to be on there, right? I'm literally from the comfort of my sofa. I would be like exhausted with details over this. By 11 weeks in, exhausted with details. Absolutely exhausted. Brenda says they got someone got a binder. Squinty Cat says, I'm definitely making a beef Wellington once this trial settles. Seriously. You know what, y'all? And then I'll keep going. Sorry to stop. We ate, so a friend had a birthday party last night, or whatever, birthday dinner, if you will. So we met there, and it was one of those restaurants, hey, with respect mostly. And it was one of those where they cook it in front of you. And so, you know, they do the vegetables, and he had all the mushrooms. And I was just like, and my friend was like, I don't like mushrooms. And I was like, don't eat the mushrooms. Definitely don't. Get those off of the thing. We don't know what's in those. If you only knew the things that I've seen in the last 2-3 months, well, years, but, you know, whatever. So, you're curious as the amount of energy drinks I would need to get over that. I mean, aim in, right? Seriously. Okay, here we go. So let's keep going here. So what the child protection officer said. The judge then briefly revisits the evidence. Oh, Sheena, you've been a member for 9 months. Alex's charges with 4 pages in all caps and 14-inch font. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so where we go here? Okay, here we go. The judge then briefly revisits the evidence of a child protection officer, Katrina Cripps, who spoke with Erin in hospital on the afternoon of August 1st. We're told that Ms. Patterson began feeling unwell on the Saturday afternoon. Ms. Cripps gave evidence that Ms. Patterson said she dropped her son's friend home later that night, but remained in the car when they made a stop because she thought she might have an accident. Ms. Patterson told Ms. Cripps that sitting in the car provided a cork. The judge reminds the jury. Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, here we go. Please hold. Where is this? Now to Erin Patterson's evidence about her health. The judge turns his attention to evidence the trial heard about poisoning. We hear that variations in the amount of toxins consumed, individual toxic tolerances, general health, age, and weight can influence an individual's response to toxic substances. Ms. Patterson's health after the lunch then returns to the spotlight. We hear detail from the accused evidence in chief about experiencing frequent diarrhea on the evening after lunch before taking Imodium and dozing off at about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Then we're taken through Ms. Patterson's recount of her symptoms persisting the following day, including as she drove her son Tyab for a flying lesson. Now, again, I'm sorry. I just will say I will stand by this. I will stand by this. If you allegedly were this ripped up, and we're going to use the word ripped up with diarrhea, getting in a car, and I get there can be, I really want to get my kid to this flying lesson. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not unless you put a diaper on. Okay, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Northwest says drive 1.5 hours and wipe. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Think about even if it's not diaper, but when you've had a stomach bug, whether it's coming out whatever, it's like you can't get away from the bathroom. It's not really an option. Okay. So that part right there, this just feels to me like, and again, the defense, they're doing what they got to do. It's almost like sitting here being like, well, she was slightly dehydrated. I can almost guarantee you, if you did my stuff right now, you could probably say I'm slightly dehydrated because of how much coffee I've drank all day. But it's like, we're not talking about, oh my gosh, get them to, the hospital, that kind of thing. It's just, they're just grabbing at straws. Okay, here we go. The accused cross-examination. Justice Beal is going into detail about what Erin Patterson said under cross-examination when asked about her immediate family's accounts of her health after lunch. He's given a forensic account of which recollections Ms. Patterson did and didn't agree with. We are reminded of evidence that her son did not see her going to the toilet frequently on the Sunday morning, but agreed that Ms. Patterson told him they might not attend church that day. Her son said his mother was quite persistent about attending his flying lesson, and Ms. Patterson agreed with that, the judge says. It's time for a break. They take a break, and we're back. Okay, Erin Patterson didn't have diarrhea at all, prosecution had argued. Okay, there we are. The judge is now summarizing details that the prosecution's argument cast doubt on Ms. Patterson's claims of being unwell. Among these is the fact that the accused chose to drive her son to Tyab for a flying lesson at the time she claimed to be experiencing these symptoms. Ms. Patterson also told the court that she made an emergency bush toilet stop during that drive, but the trial heard her son had no recollection of that event. If his mom made an emergency stop in the bush to go to the toilet, he would remember that, the judge said, summarizing the prosecution argument. She didn't have diarrhea at all, the judge says, recapping that case. I mean, and I agree, that's going to be an event that if someone in your vehicle is pulling over to go squat and plop inside the road, I mean, you're going to remember that. There's going to be talk about that. There's going to be, oh my God, I'm prairie dogging, I'm pulling over. We've got explosions going on. There's going to be talk of this. This isn't going to be something just kind of like, whatever. There's going to be talk of this. Point blank, period. Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to drink. Okay, sorry. Yeah, for people, if there's anybody from Australia, like when people refer to like out in the bush or whatever, to to me, that's the same thing as like seeing here, like the woods, right? Is that just what is referred to as like nature? Like we pulled off on the side of the road and they ran in the woods. We all call it ran the bush. Like that's kind of how I interpret it. Turtle heading. Yes, yes, Lauren. Yes, I love it. I've got a turtle head poking out. If I pulled off on the side of the road, oh, honey, we're in bad shape. We're in bad shape. Okay. I'm talking, we're bordering on airlift. Okay. We're bordering on the next step is airlifting. Okay. From wherever we're at. Okay. This is not something we take lightly, right? If we're pulling off on the side of the road to go prairie dogging, we're one paycheck away from airlift. Okay. I'm sorry. Some really bad stuff is about to take place. Okay, not just like, well, I guess we'll finish making the trip. Okay, a lot of stuff's just coming to a real quick end. Okay, so, anyways, let's keep going. Okay, here we go. The jury urged to compare lunch attendees' experiences. The judge is delving deeper into prosecutor Nanette Rogers' argument that Erin Patterson didn't suffer death cap mushroom poisoning. Justice Beale is returning to evidence that one doctor said Ms. Patterson did not look unwell when she was being cannulated and looked well during an ambulance trip. Not one medical witness, Dr. Rogers argues, observed her to be unwell, certainly not sick with death cap mushroom poisoning, the judge says. Compare that with the experience of the lunch guest. We then revisit the deteriorating health of the four guests. We hear Don Patterson reported 30 to 40 episodes of vomiting and diarrhea by 8 p.m. the following evening. So just hold that in comparison. And I know, like, technically in a situation that something like this could actually, like, legit happen. Like, you know, say everybody eats like the same thing, gets what people get different stuff, right? So I understand that. I don't think that's the case with this specific thing, but you know, it is what it is. But hold on in comparison. Okay, we hear that all the guests stopped being able to tolerate fluid. We hear that the four of them were eventually placed on life support in an advanced state of multiple organ failure. Again, with this right here, you know, you think Don was going to run home and take care of the dogs real quick? You think Gail was like, well, let me make some phone calls? No. Okay. No. By the time all this was taken, no, they're literally dying. God bless them. A horrible way to go. Okay. Is it possible to experience less severe death cap mushroom poisoning? This is the question Justice Beale is touching upon as he revisits evidence from a toxicology expert. That expert said that different. Thank you, Lauren, for gifting 5 memberships. I appreciate you. The expert said they would expect some adverse outcomes from the survivor of the meal. Thank you, Kate Bush. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. The prosecution argued that Ms. Patterson's claim of developing symptoms at 4 p.m. on the day of the lunch would be inconsistent with death cap mushroom poisoning. The judge reminds the jury, but the defense questioned who was to say the onset wouldn't it be earlier. Directions on incriminating conduct. We've reached a critical moment where the judge is providing the jury with instructions in relation to the alleged incriminating conduct. It includes, as you know, alleged lies, he says. I will concentrate on the alleged lies for a moment because there are 2 ways you can use them if you find there were lies and there were some admitted lies. The law says you can use the accused lies to assess their credibility, the judge says. He tells jury members that they can use that assessment to decide whether they believe the other things she said. That is not to say just because you find the accused lied about one matter, you must also find she has been lying about everything else, he says. He warns them not to reason that just because she lied, she must be guilty. More directions on incriminating conduct. The judge tells the jury the second way it can use the alleged conduct Wait, I'm sorry. The judge tells the jury the second way it can use the alleged lies that the prosecution argues constitute incriminating conduct is implied evidence of guilt. Justice Bill tells the jury they can only take that path if they find Erin Patterson told an untruth, and the only reasonable explanation was that she committed the offenses she's been charged with. The jury is warned to consider all of the evidence before it. In relation to the other actions that the prosecution relies on as incriminating conduct, the judge says the same principles of law apply. Oh, thank you, Emily. I appreciate you. He tells the jury that they can only use those instances as implied admissions of guilt if they believe the only reasonable explanation of that conduct is that Miss Patterson committed the offenses. In summary, there are all sorts of reasons why a person might behave in a way that makes them look guilty, Justice Bill says. There's a technical issue, and it brings the hearing to a slight early finish. Directions will resume on Monday. Justice Bill tells the jury he expects to finish his directions on Monday, when he'll deal with the issues they have to decide in the case. Don't let anybody get in your ear over the weekend, he tells the jurors. Only discuss the case with your fellow jurors in the privacy of the jury room. The jury is sent out for the weekend. And then Justice Bill gives detail about the last parts of his directions. Before the end of Friday's proceedings, Justice Bill gave some information about what will be included in the final parts of his directions. I will be focusing on evidence and arguments that haven't featured in the first part of the charge, he said. He said the second part of his directions will continue to address issues in this case and the evidence and arguments that bear upon these issues. Justice Bill then said the third part will be mercifully brief. I can't say that. Oh, thanks, Lauren. Wow, you've been a member for 16 months. I do appreciate you and all you do. Let me come back up here real quick. Oh, wait, Kate. Oh, thank you, Kay Bush, for giving a membership. So I appreciate you. Oh, there you are. Yeah. Thank you, Kay Bush. Down under. Wait, down under, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Down under says, wait till you hear the judge tells the jury to ignore some big things experts haven't proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Yes, okay, that was the part. Okay, when did that come out? I'm trying to find that part because my mouth was kind of like, what? When you were telling me that in the email, I was just like, hold on. Some of this stuff is pretty major, y'all. Hold on, I'm going to mute it while I take a sip. Okay, let me come back up here. I said a shooby-doo. I said a shooby-doo. I said a shooby-doo. I said a shooby. Okay, hold on. Let's come over here. I said shoe. I said a shoe. I said a shoe. I said a doobie. Doobie doop 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 doobie doop doop doop. Where do I get? Let's do this. I'm trying to find. Hold on, where down I was saying he's gonna. Okay, so down under says Gail and Heather at the autopsy no death cap mushrooms. That's right. So there's something to the effect of down there. Tell me if I'm saying this right because I'm kind of just going off of that. That there was they had to exclude that because they found the beef Wellingtons, like theirs didn't have death cap stuff in it. Was that correct? There, Jordan. Okay, let's do this one. I found another article. Okay, we're going to do the day before now, okay? So the court starts off delayed. Okay, so as I'm going to start here. As proceedings wrapped up for the day yesterday, Justice Bill was speaking to the jury about expert witnesses. He mentioned two who gave evidence in Erin Patterson's triple murder trial, Dr. Matthew Sorrell and Shaman Fox Henry. Justice Bill highlighted some of Dr. Sorrell's evidence surrounding mobile phone data and phone towers. He told the jury that there were significant limitations in some of the evidence that it should not be considered in isolation. This morning, we expect Justice Bill will continue to give direction on this topic, but in relation to the evidence given by Fox Henry, who is a digital forensics officer with Victoria Police. Some other directions given to the jury yesterday. During yesterday's proceedings, Justice Bill told the jury that they are to be the judge of facts and should not allow sympathy to affect their verdict. They are also told to disregard any outside information or opinion they may have overheard from family, friends, or associates, particularly given the high interest in this case. Pardon me. Justice Bill pointed out some inconsistencies in some of the witnesses' testimonies, including Miss Patterson's estranged husband, Simon Patterson, and the sole surviving guest of the lunch, Ian Wilkinson. He told the jury that they must assess how credible the evidence from each witness is. Wow. Hey, Tori, how's it going? He also pointed out some inconsistencies that related to a number of topics, including whether or not Miss Patterson's children were invited to attend the lunch in question, the source of the mushrooms in the beef Wellington, and when Miss Patterson started experiencing diarrhea. He highlighted these inconsistencies through transcripts and told the jury members it was up to them to determine which account, if any, is accurate. In regards to Erin Patterson's evidence, the jury were told that if they believe her testimony, they must find her not guilty. Hold on. Well, I'm going to do a little, please hold. I have 10,000 thoughts coming on one time. Please hold. We're going to get triggered here. Please hold. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so let me just go through here. Yep. Okay, I'm just trying to catch up to where. Here we go. Okay, so the judge turns focus to digital forensics evidence. Justice Bill clarifies a few points he made yesterday for the jury, and then he moves to the shaman Fox Henry's evidence as an expert witness. Mr. Fox Henry is a digital forensic expert with Victoria Police. His evidence focused on various devices seized from Erin Patterson's home and some messages that were extracted from those devices. We're given a detailed account of Mr. Fox Henry's qualifications. Justice Bill tells the jury that in cross-exam, Mr. Fox Henry said he first received these devices for examination in about the middle of August 2023. At that time, the judge says, Mr. Fox Henry did not hold some of the qualifications he now holds today. The only training and data collection was from experience in audio visual. Justice Bill says he tells the jury that Mr. Fox Henry followed instructions from his peers to assess the devices in this case. The jury is given a refresher on data extraction. The judge tells, now this part, if I was a jury going through this stuff again, I'd be like, please just give me the cliff notes, right? I'm like, the phone data, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, no, we're going to read. The body will begin rejecting. Okay. The judge tells the jury that Fox Henry extracted and processed the data from a computer seized from Erin Patterson's home. In his evidence, Mr. Fox Henry explained a process by which he created two portable cases. One of these contained data from a keyword search, which included terms like death caps and death cap mushroom. Justice Bill is running through a list of things Mr. Fox Henry did while extracting the data and essentially how he prepared his report. Again, all this information is already known to the jury and was presented during the expert's evidence. Judge turns to iNaturalist site visits. Justice Bill tells the jury that there were more than 2 million artifacts on the seized computer. Mr. Fox Henry was asked to look at between 60 and 70 of those. During his evidence, he agreed that the data included interactions with iNaturalist's website on May 28, 2022, which lasted about 3 minutes. He also agreed that the records showed the same computer visiting the Corambura Middle Pub website a few minutes after a visit to the iNaturalist website. The court had previously heard at least 2 people had uploaded details of death cap mushroom sightings in the Gippsland area to iNaturalist. The judge reminds the jury that Erin Patterson gave evidence that she could not remember this internet search. Boom, boom, boom. Erin Patterson's evidence on the searches. In her evidence, Ms. Patterson says she couldn't remember various searches on her devices, but it was possible she was responsible for them. Justice Beal reminds the jury. She says she wasn't disagreeing with the cross-examiner, but she couldn't remember, the judge says. He reminds the jury that Ms. Patterson also said she had no idea that she had an interest in death cap mushrooms. Her only interest was to find out if they grew in South Gippsland. She agreed that someone visited the Corambura Middle Pub website, but said she couldn't remember if it was her and wasn't suggesting it was her children either. We turn to images from one of the seized devices. The jury is taken to the images found on the tablet the police seized during a search of Erin Patterson's home. The jury saw these images earlier in the trial. One of the images is a food dehydrator. Dun, 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 the food dehydrator, right? Another, showed images of mushrooms in a plastic tray, and another is of mushrooms on a set of scales. Some of the images also show information about ovarian cancer. Justice Bill says that Mr. Fox Henry told the courts he could not say when the original images were taken and what device they were on. He also said he didn't know if they were taken by the user or received from someone else. Attention turns to the phone factory resets. We're now looking at a number of phone factory resets that were carried out on a phone connected to Erin Patterson, which was referred to during trial as Phone B. Justice Beal tells the jury the resets occurred on February 12, 2023 at 3:53 a.m., August 2nd, 2023 at 9:09 p.m., August 5th, 2023 at 11:20 p.m. when the phone was in police custody, and then August 6th, 2023 3:16 p.m. when the phone was still in police custody. She came back the next day. She wanted to make real sure. She said, she was like, I thought I clicked the button, but I didn't see like a confirmation. I'm just going to do it one more time. I'm just going to do it one more time and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So here's my thing. Think about how many times you've done a factory reset on your phone. Okay, from February to August, she did 4, right? It's like that part right there is a little suspect, but it is what it is. She pulled a Stephen Stearns. She pulled a Stephen Stearns. Okay, here we go. Mr. Fox Henry told the court the first 3 resets were done locally, meaning the person carrying out the resets had the phone in their physical possession. He also said factory resets are irreversible and destroy the data on the phone and can be carried out in a number of ways. The judge gives directions on digital evidence. Well, now, hold on, I just pressed the wrong button. There we go. After a quick break, the jury returns. Justice Beal picks up by urging the jury not to consider the evidence of Mr. Fox Henry, the police digital forensics expert, in isolation. The judge tells the jury it needs to consider whether you can reasonably infer that on the 28th of May, 2022, the accused sought out the information on iNaturalist's website regarding death cap mushrooms in Victoria for a second time. He emphasizes to the jury that there's no computer evidence of Erin accessing 2 posts on iNaturalist that detailed the death cap mushroom sightings in Gippsland. He tells the jury that the prosecution argues Ms. Patterson was aware of iNaturalist's site and its features. Defense conceded Erin Patterson visited the iNaturalist in closing address. We then turn to a section of the defense's closing address where Barrister Colin Mandy, SC, addressed the following visit to iNaturalist search on May 28, 2022. He conceded that Ms. Patterson was responsible for the search, but went on to say it was a brief visit. His client was not familiar with the webpage. More directions on expert evidence. Justice Beal tells the jury it's not required to accept the opinions of telecommunications specialist Dr. Sorrell or Mr. Fox Henry, or indeed the expert opinions of the other experts who gave evidence in this case. He says their contributions are merely pieces of evidence that you may accept or reject. The judge said the jury should not consider the expert's qualification, experience, and whether the inferences of their evidence are disputed or not. You will appreciate that defense did not challenge the evidence of Sorrell or Fox Henry. Rather, the defense challenged the I can't say it. Inferences. Sorry, that word is like above my pay grade for some reason. Inferences you could draw from their evidence, he tells the jury, and it's not even that complicated of a word. Okay, turning now to the alleged incriminating conduct. So Justice Bill then briefly lists the alleged actions that the prosecution argues are incriminating conduct. The prosecution alleges Erin Patterson, I'm going to read this off, lied about, wait, did we already do this part right here? Please hold. Let's just go through it again. Okay, lied about being unwell and faked death cap mushroom poisoning. Lied that she used dried mushrooms from an Asian grocery in Beef Wellingtons. Refused treatment on her first presentation at the Lee and Gatha Hospital and left the hospital against medical advice. Was reluctant to obtain medical treatment for her children on July 31st, 2023. Lied that she had fed her children the leftover Beef Wellingtons on the Sunday night with the mushroom paste and pastry scraped off, reset phone B multiple times from August 2nd, 2023, disposed of a dehydrator at the local tip on the same day, provided police with phone B rather than her usual phone during a police search of her home on August 5th, 2023. Later lied to police about her usual mobile phone number. Lied that she never foraged mushrooms or dehydrated food. The focus then turns to Erin's hospital attendance. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, we're taken to evidence Miss Patterson's husband, Simon, gave that Miss Patterson had a history of leaving hospitals. Simon previously told the jury his estranged wife had done that twice before. The judge also highlights evidence that Dr. Chris Webster told Patterson he was concerned about the possibility of death cap poisoning after he learned Miss Patterson cooked the meal. The nurse who saw Miss Patterson in hospital told the jury she was reluctant to go into a bay. Miss Patterson told the nurse she was not prepared to be admitted and needed to go home to sort out her children, despite the nurse warning her life could be in danger, the court heard. The accused then signed a patient discharge form. Justice Bill is summarizing all of this evidence for the jury. More detail on Erin Patterson's history with hospital. The judge is going into more detail about Miss Patterson's hospital presentation on July 31st. We heard evidence that the staff told Miss Patterson she should remain in the hospital because she might become unwell. But Miss Patterson said she didn't live far away and would return after she tended to her children and animals. We're then taken to some detail about Miss Patterson's previous hospital attendances, including one in 2015 when she requested a nurse remove an IV drip so she could leave. During her evidence, Ms. Patterson told the jury about a misdiagnosis that led her to distrust the healthcare system. Each side's arguments on why Erin left the hospital. Justice Beal continues, recapping evidence from Ms. Patterson that she asked a doctor at Lee and Gatha Hospital, why do you think I've eaten death cap mushrooms? In her evidence, Ms. Patterson said she was anxious in the hospital because no one was giving her updates on her other lunch guest. Justice Bill reminds the jury that the prosecution argues the only explanation for Ms. Patterson's reluctance to get medical help was that she knew she had not consumed the death cap mushrooms. The defense argues, meanwhile, that there is a reasonable explanation for Ms. Patterson's behavior. The judge reminds the jury of the defense argument that Ms. Patterson found it difficult to accept she could be suffering from death cap mushroom poisoning, had a history of self-discharging from hospital, and tended to second-guess medical advice. That's all for now, but the judge's directions won't finish tomorrow. Justice Bill tells the jury he'll turn next to the alleged incriminating conduct related to the store-bought mushrooms. Noting the time of day, the judge says it's best if the jury hears that evidence as a single block and sends the jury members out until tomorrow. Before they leave, the judge says his directions won't finish tomorrow. And then that was it there. And then we read the ones that they're referring to for the day or whatever. So we're going to wind that part down there. Okay, well, first of all, let me come over here and see this. Where are we at with this? Okay, so let's see what the verdict is. Okay, so we got, will she be found guilty? Yes, 92%, no, 7%. So one thing that I'm interested to see with this is now that he's coming out and saying like, okay, so for example, where it's like, don't consider this evidence right here isolated, like, oh, she did this, so, consider it in context or however you want to say it. So bringing that part into it, but also bringing that, oh, you can't look at this and you can't look at this. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes down. Again, wait, hold on, wait, down under. Down under says, Paul, yes, that's what I meant. Jurors don't have included expert opinions or whatever. Okay, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see kind of like from our experience here in the States with how we watch these things go down versus this over there to see like what it is, like how the jury handles it with all these instructions and whatnot. Again, overall, I'm just like, yeah, wow, they really, and I mean, they really dot their I's and cross their T's on this. And I'm not trying to say that we don't do the same thing, but I mean, like this whole thing of the judge going back himself through all this evidence and boom, boom, boom. And here's what you can do with this, and here's what you can't do with this. Remember, this person said this. Remember, this person said this. This is how you have to do the context of this person. That is, I mean, I think that's good, right? But again, like it's whoa, right? It's intense. Now hold on, I'm gonna mute y'all while I take a sip of water. Now here's my thing too. Hey, so Sandy says it's very odd the judge is telling them to disregard professional testimony. It's unprofessional. Noted. Wait on. There's both too many lies and more lies. No, nothing she said at the time was true. She has an explanation for every detail. Yep, agreed. I don't think she'll be convicted, but I do think she's guilty. Okay, cool. Yeah, Barry. Oh man. Yeah. One thing that I would be interested with this, in like this kind of a courtroom, is to me this would be so important, like if you were the jury, to be listening to how everything was done, because as I'm reading what the judge is saying as like from the sofa speculation, if I was on the jury from the sofa, so much of what the judge is saying, the tone of voice that they used, how they said it, body mannerisms that they're saying thing would play so heavily into that. That's the part. K Bush says, my hubby can sing your song. That's awesome. Thank you for the super chat, K Bush. And thank you, Mr. K Bush, for singing the song along with all of us. I do appreciate that. That is quite the honor. But however, the body language of the judge could definitely come off as bias, because like, imagine like if he was like, now remember, Erin lied about this. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying he's doing that, but that would be so big to me in the courtroom. So that part to me can get complicated. Like, imagine some of the court things that we've watched if with the judge like repeated the whole trial back. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Sarah Boone? God, he would have quit. He would have quit. I'm just reading your stuff here. Mine Bob's has had along. That's cute, Katie Cat. Hey, Stephanie. Heather Feather. Oh, you got major storms there. We've had them here too. This weather has been crazy hot here. Crazy hot. She does have an excuse for everything. I mean, so at some point next week, this is going to go to the jury, right? For them to decide or whatever. So we'll see. Now, a couple of things here. So remember, tomorrow night, Nate Eaton, YouTube channel, East Idaho News. I think it's 10 o'clock East Coast time, 7 o'clock Mountain time. Okay, so there's that. That's what we're going to be talking about there. Secondly, totally watched Annie Elise's interview with what's her name, Sherry Papini today. Y'all, I'm going to make a video on that one too. So if that's another one that you want to like a total cringe binge, we'll be doing that one too, right? So that's coming down the pipeline. Yikes. Andy did a good job with that, but woo, that one was crazy. Brenda says she gonna sell that book quick enough for that interview. I mean, I'm surprised she didn't wear a t-shirt talking about buy my book. I mean, that was bad. Okay, that was bad. But I thought Annie did a good job, and she asked those, she asked the questions. And like what I see Sherry doing is just like figuring out what the questions are being asked and regurgitating it. But that'll be a whole separate thing we talk about. What I'm thinking we're going to do too is maybe Tuesday night's live chat. We'll talk about Nate Eaton's thing from Monday night, because it'll be late, right? And then the day will happen, all that kind of stuff or whatever. So we'll plan to do that one Tuesday evening. That'll be our live chat Tuesday. A lot of stuff's all of a sudden going on in true crime world. So yeah, so that's it. So first and foremost, everybody give the mods a sofa in the comment section a round of applause for being so wonderful and keeping the sofa cushions fluffed and going. I do appreciate y'all. And I appreciate you, the Sofa Squad, for hanging out and going through these cases with me. You don't know how much I enjoy doing this with y'all. It's a much needed reprieve during the day, I guess you could say. Yeah, the Nate Eaton thing is crazy. It's crazy. I mean, like the little preview he put up there was just wild. Absolutely wild. So I'm so glad I got to do that. But that said, thank you everybody for the super chats and the memberships. I do appreciate y'all. So y'all have a good evening. We'll close out with Slow Morrison's song. So again, tomorrow night, Nate Eaton sing. Tuesday night, we'll do a live chat. And tomorrow on the main channel, I did, what do you call it? Just a quick little reaction thing to the preview thing. So that'll be out there. It's just a quick video. But that's it. I love y'all. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Sleep tight, sweet dreams. And let's slow roll with slow-mo. Bye.
The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough. Join the family. It's all love while we laugh at first criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Oh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.